What do you do when you go shopping and you feel like nothing fits right and you start feeling like something is wrong with your body? I can't tell you how many times I start working with a new client and they share with me all the things they think are wrong with their body. And they're like, well, before we start working together, let me just tell you, my boobs are too big, my shoulders are too broad, my waist is too small, my thighs are this, like a list of things, like thinking they are so different from anyone I've worked with. I hear that all the time. Even with men, they're like telling me everything wrong with them instead of just talking about, like, this is challenging for me. They think something is wrong with their body. And I do my best when I'm working with people and through the podcast and blog, sharing that there is nothing wrong with your body. You are made exactly the way that you are supposed to be. And you do have to take into consideration that retailers, I mean, can you imagine how hard it would be to create something for every single body type? I know that we talk about like these certain body types that people have and they categorize people within it, like a rectangle, the hourglass, the inverted triangle, the apple. But really, there is so much more depth within it. And I'm just going to say, I think, of course, that's a good starting point. As a personal stylist, yes, I take into consideration that overall body type. But when we work together, we get specific into who you are, what you like, what you don't like, where you're struggling when you're shopping, what isn't fitting well, and why. For example, if I know my client is an hourglass, I can't put her in like this boxy, billowy top because her waist and body will just get lost within it. And it will make her look like a paper sack, like a potato sack, actually. And knowing these details about her hourglass figure, like maybe she's an hourglass, but she also has broad shoulders. Or maybe she's an hourglass and has a bigger bust and smaller shoulders. She's not going to feel comfortable showing off every little part of her body usually. So finding pieces that fit for your body type and the specific parts of your body is very important. And I want to let you know that there is a way to shop for clothing without struggling and actually finding things that work for you. So if you've been in that situation where you go to the store, you feel at least like you tried like everything on and you're like, nothing is fitting my body right. Let me just tell you, there is a secret to finding something that works, and that is finding something that is close to working and getting it tailored. When I'm working with men especially, I think men are more open to tailoring because it is really part of the process. Men also have body types that we don't talk about, and finding pieces that fit well right off the rack is not always going to happen. Sometimes we need to shorten their sleeves, bring it in the waist, things like that. And with women, I think women don't get as much tailoring done as they actually need. And when I've been doing this, I've seen a huge change in the way that people feel after they get something tailored because it makes it feel like it was made for you. You put it on after you get it tailored and you're like, oh my gosh, it fits. Yes, it can sometimes be a big investment. I'm just going to say it's not always super cheap depending on what you need done. For example, I just took my wedding dress in to get altered because I am too short. I need pretty much all of that dress is getting altered to me. And the price I am paying for it is well worth it because when it was all pinned into place, I'm like, this looks like a totally different dress. My sister said that too. I showed her a picture. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting alterations and I'm not even getting a new dress because I like this dress. It does fit my body. It just doesn't fit it perfectly. And the alterations, she even said, looks like a completely new dress. And that's okay. And I'm okay with that. I like to get things altered. I have to do it with shirts, tops, pants, all the things. I'm used to it. And I want to share with you some different parts of your body that maybe you've been struggling to buy the right pieces for, and telling you what you can get altered so that it can fit you and you won't struggle as much as you're shopping. Once you discover the art of tailoring and getting alterations done, these few tweaks that you're going to make to the clothing that you buy in the future, and maybe even some of the things in your closet, is going to open up a new style and a way that you see your body. So I highly encourage you to take a look at pieces that maybe you own that never felt like it fit quite right, or even look at pieces that you are about to purchase and figure out if that is worth getting it altered. Okay, I want to start at the top. I'm just going to start with my number one problem, and it's a problem for a lot of my clients as well. When you have small boobs, what do you do when you can't fill in that dress, or there's just too much fabric there and it looks really awkward? Out of my own experience, I do find this a lot. And my goodness, when you get a dress redone to fit your boobs, it makes a huge difference. So the opposite of doing that I've seen clients do is they buy a super, super padded bra, which looks out of place with your body type. Usually if you are smaller chested and you buy this really big padded bra, you can tell. People might not be able to tell depending on what you're wearing it with, but if you're doing something low cut and you add this padded bra, it's like you see the bumps and you don't see the cleavage and it just looks off. So what you can do is when you go to the tailor, and again, always take things into the tailor and ask what they can do. They will be very honest with you of what they can fix and not fix. And I highly recommend finding a good tailor. But what you can get done is that they will fold in the seams and take away that extra fabric so it can fit the bra that you're wearing and you don't have to wear something overly padded. Another thing that happens is that clients that don't end up getting their things tailored and are kind of quote unquote settling for a dress or a top, it looks so low cut that when you bend over, because you don't have boobs to fill in the shirt, you can just see everything and it's uncomfortable, or you really fidget with it and try to like move it around. Get these pieces tailored. Not every shirt, usually it's just sleeveless tops. They can bring up the straps so that it's not doing that gaping thing, or they can bring in the sides. So those are the top things that they can do with shirts and dresses. The second one, the opposite of having small boobs, having really big boobs. So fixing the opening to the shirts and dresses that maybe feel too revealing. I also work through this a lot with different clients, especially clients that want to feel more professional. And regardless, when you're just wearing an everyday shirt, you don't want it gaping open when you're like moving your hands around, talking, picking up the kids. So what do? The top thing that people get done is getting a hook and an eye in the space between the shirt so it doesn't gape open in that area. Sometimes it's between two buttons, sometimes it's between two buttons, or between four buttons, like in between the two, and you have to get more hooks and eyes for it depending on how big it is, how big your boobs are. Another thing that you can get done is if it is too low cut and it feels too revealing for work, they do an inside seam, and an invisible seam that they bring in on the inside up to the point that feels comfortable for you, or putting another hook and eye. This is also very common. I find with women that do have bigger boobs, they don't necessarily always want to share their cleavage with everybody and show it off at work, especially for work. But for dates, they're open to showing it off. So with your work shirts, definitely look into getting the seam brought up so that it hits a place that you feel comfortable with in your work environment. I also have recently done this with a few clients with dresses that are super low cut. I know right now, like the long midi and full length dresses are super popular, but to make up for it on top, designers are making things that are very, very low cut. And not everybody feels good in that. So I've actually had a few clients put in with the tailor a lace or a mesh piece on the inside so you don't necessarily see all that cleavage. And there are two ways that you can do it. Of course, you can get something, well, it's difficult. You do, again, have to ask your tailor. You could try to match up the color, but if not, if it's a dark dress, like a navy or a dark red or a dark purple, you can put a black mesh so it kind of blends in. If you're wearing something that's a lighter color, like a pastel thing, a lavender, mint, cream, you can do white, or you can do a nude mesh to put in between. And it makes a huge difference, especially if you find a dress that like fits everywhere, you love it, but you feel uncomfortable with how much it's showing. These are two easy fixes that you can do. Now with broad shoulders, again, I'm not sure where women have lost the inspiration of getting things tailored, because men especially get their jackets, their pants, their shirts tailored. And I find women, when they have broader shoulders and they try something that fits their shoulders and doesn't come in the waist or fit their body, they just give up. And they're like, there is nothing that works for me. Everything tends to be too boxy because I have to pick a size bigger. But honestly, those blazers can be tailored. Yes, this is actually a bit more expensive than other things, but if you are struggling with finding a jacket that fits, but you find them, it fits in the shoulders and the rest of it feels out of place, go to the tailor, and there are seams that they can follow and they will bring it in. With some jackets, they'll be able to create seams to bring it in the waist and make it feel more feminine and less boxy on you. So I highly recommend doing this. It makes a huge difference so that you can actually find jackets that fit you. I know that a lot of clients struggle with this. The next one is having a small waist and larger hips. Usually the challenge is that when you find pants or even jeans, it gapes right in the back around the waist because it fits your hips, but on your waist, your waist is so small that it can't adjust to the waist. And also, when you do have a smaller waist, or you have like the pear shape where your shoulders are smaller and you have to do a size smaller on top and it to fit the hips, you need to bring it in as well. So let's talk about the pant part and fixing the waist in your pants. This is something that happens with a lot of my clients. The key is that we need to find the pants that fit perfectly on the butt, on the thighs, that feel good and fit there. If it doesn't fit the waist, they just pinch it and take it in. Super easy fix. Many people at the dry cleaners, if you don't want to take it to somewhere expensive, they do this alteration all the time. It's the secret. So if you have felt limited by only buying quote unquote curvy jeans or curvy pants, you can have more options available to you by buying a pant that fits in the butt, in the thighs, and just get it taken in. I know a lot of clients have felt stuck with what they can buy because of this, and they haven't ever thought like, oh my gosh, if I do find a pant I really like and want to add to my closet, I could just get altered so it fits me. So that's number one. And number two, with the tops that are bigger, people can get their tops altered as well. So not every blouse. Again, I do recommend if you're buying something, buy it if the return policy is returnable. Buy the piece that you like and you're thinking of keeping and getting altered, and take the pieces to your tailor to see if it can be done, because I know some fabrics are more delicate. For example, linen tends to be more delicate and silk tends to be more delicate. So those two sometimes can be more difficult for tops or jackets or pants. So I do highly recommend sharing with the tailor what they can do, and they will let you know. So you could take it to the tailor and ask them what can be done. But tops can be brought in so that it fits your waist better. Length of pants and skirts. When you're fixing pieces that are too long, this is not just for people that are petite, because right now in fashion, everything feels like really long. If you go online and you start searching for dresses or skirts, you'll notice they're all like midi or really long to your ankle, past your ankle maybe. And not everybody likes that look. I do want to pop in here as a stylist and let you know that if you are petite and you've heard of that rule of not being able to wear skirts or dresses that are long, I just want to say you're allowed to break that rule. You can totally rock it with some wedges, some flats. It is what works best for you. If you do feel like you're drowning in it, yes, bring it up to your ankle. You can also bring dresses and skirts up to right below your knee is a good spot, or right above your knee if you want to show off more leg. Make the dress or the skirt for you. So if you find some skirts that you really like that are long, or dresses that you like that are long, I personally done this a lot lately. I have kept some of my dresses and skirts long, but some I'm like, I feel like this is a flirty dress. Like I want to show off my legs a bit more. And I've gotten it tailored, and clients have too, whether they're casual dresses or formal dresses and skirts. Get those tailored to the length that is more flattering on you. Try to avoid skirts and dresses that hit the biggest part of your leg on your calf because it doesn't tend to be flattering. You'll notice that you won't know, like, why is that not looking right? It usually is because it's hitting that biggest part. So if you do buy something that hits there, get it tailored to go up more so that it looks better on you. And then for pants that are too long, right now the pants that tend to be long in denim are wide leg and flares. You'll have to get those altered because they are really big. And you could totally rock a platform if that's in your life. But if you're somebody that wants to wear it with like flat sandals or just a chunky wedge, take in the shoes that you will be wearing with your jeans or your pants when you get them altered. You don't want to get pieces altered with shoes that you're not going to be wearing with them. So match up the shoe to the pant and take it in together. I do want to also remind you that with trouser pants, if you are buying like those cool trouser pants that you can just wear day to day with sneakers, take your sneakers. Don't take them with a heel if you're not going to be wearing those trouser pants with a heel. And if you haven't tried a pair of trouser pants and sneakers, I highly recommend it. I personally love this look for myself too, because when I'm shopping with people, I'm walking for a long time. So I have actually dressed up my sneaker look so that I could wear it to work and feel comfortable with it. And rocking sneakers and tailored pants fit so well. If you have a short torso or you are just petite in general, fixing the straps to your tops and dresses is very important. Have you opened up your closet and you're like, oh, I love that dress, but every time I wear it, I feel like I have to pin it back or something? You know what? Just take it in to get tailored. That's an easy fix that they can do for you. What you want to do is you want to make sure that the neckline, especially with a straight neckline or even something that's a V-neck with the straps on it, that it doesn't feel like you're revealing too much, because that tends to be the problem. When you're shorter, it dips down lower because it was made for somebody with a longer torso. And so if you don't have that, you feel like you're constantly pulling your shirt up, pulling your dress up. Take it in so that they can fix the straps. And when I'm talking about fixing the straps, I'm talking about sleeveless tops, those sleeveless sweaters that you can wear with the thicker straps, or dresses. I'm not talking about like an actual like full on long sleeve t-shirt type of thing. They cannot fix that, unfortunately. But if you do find sleeveless tops, even the wider band tops, you can get it in and it fits perfectly. I recently did this with a dress that I've had for a year. I'm like, I mean, it's a dress I don't wear often, so it didn't really click until I tried it again the other day. And I was like, oh, this actually just needs to be brought up because I'm too short, and that's why it's so low cut and I keep like fidgeting with it. So I've even had to discover that with pieces I own, and I didn't realize it when I was wearing it last time until now. Now it's time for you to go out and explore new styles, and even go back into your closet and see what things you can change that you really love, but it doesn't fit quite right. Don't be discouraged by pieces if they don't fit. Just make sure it fits those parts of your body that you need it to fit, like your shoulders or under your boobs. And then other things can be brought in so that it fits you perfectly and it's tailored to your own body. It makes all the difference when you try something on that fits you. And you'll also feel like you have more wardrobe options. You won't feel limited to what's out there and assume that everything is supposed to fit right off the rack. Thank you for spending time with me today. It means so much when we get to hang out and I'm in your ear pods. I can give you a dose of fashion tips and have a conversation with you. If you could do a huge favor for me, it would help the podcast out if you left a 5-star review, share what you enjoyed today, what you learned. It only takes a few minutes of doing this, and you can help me reach more people with the Closet Edit podcast. Thank you in advance for supporting me with the show. Continue building a life and style that truly reflect you. I'll catch you next time.